Feature Friday.
The freshest. Us a little bit about the beginnings of your career. Like how did you actually? When did you actually decided to take the leap and go to the Philippines? Because that's a pretty big change, if you ask me.
Yeah, I packed up, I moved out,
Just like
I didn't
that.
know anyone.
Yeah.
I just came out here. But I touched up a little bit earlier. I mentioned it that they were saying that there's no market for Asian, right? So
Mm.
what happened was I had a group called First Impression. Shout out to Mike Gabriel, to Jimmy Martinez, to Alex Bacani, and Owen Amaral. We were like a cappella group that also played
Oh.
live instruments as a
Oh,
band,
it's a
and
good
we did
idea.
original music. And we were kind of just doing that at the time. No one was really doing it. And at the same time, we were also recording original music. And
Yeah.
our original music, because of our homie Ray Brown, shout out to Ray Brown, which is still my partner right now in LA. He knew all the record labels in America, right? So basically, back in the day, we didn't have internet yet,
Yeah.
right? So we were sending like tape, we were sending
Yeah, yeah.
CDs,
Yeah.
and it's hard to print a picture back in the day. It would be, it's expensive. We didn't have no money to print. We already spent all the money to make the CD.
Yeah.
So we sent him a CD, and everyone was loving the music. Into our we got our foot in the door into like four major labels in
Wow.
the US.
Amazing.
Yeah, there was even one point where they picked us up in a limousine and we went to
Ooh.
the airport. They flew us to New York. It was so
Amazing.
fun. I was like, what, 17 years old. It was so fun.
Wow.
And then, like we're just exploring and we met the executives. We go to the top floor, meet the executives. We walk in the door. Their faces are so excited. And when they see us, it just totally 180. Boom, just like, what? They're like, wow, we didn't know you're Asian. We
Oh.
thought you were like black or white or something because of the way you sing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And basically they were just saying, sorry, we can't mess with you because, there's no market for
Okay.
Asians right now. And all four major labels told us the same exact thing. They love the music, but we're Asian. The thing is, out of two of them,
Yeah.
they offered me to go solo. They're like, yo, we can't do anything with the group, but we see potential in you and we can work with you and develop you.
Right.
And I was excited, but at the same time, I was like, man, I can't just backstab my bros,
Of
man.
course. Of course.
I can't just leave them.
Mm.
So I decided to stay with the group and continue shopping, but it was kind of hard. So that's the time I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take the music. I'll just make a solo album right now because everyone got married and
Yeah.
others got kids. So I just decided to make a solo album. And same thing, right? Same thing happened. It's Asian. So I was like, fine, this is it. I'm gonna shop it to the Philippines where I'm from.
Right.
I
Wow.
speak the language, so I might have a chance. So the first label that we shopped it to, they just picked it up. They flew me to the Philippines.
Wow.
I came out here, Universal Records. Shout out to you, Universal. They were my
Nice.
first and last major label that I worked with.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah. And then while I was out here for that meeting, a TV network was interested in me too. So I got a TV deal and a record deal. And I decided, I was like, this is the place to be. I'm going to move to the Philippines. I'm going to take a big chance.
My
Yeah.
God.
And I totally do not regret that decision that I made in 2003. That was
Oh
2003.
my God.
Woo!
Ooh, a little while
Yeah.
back. That's awesome, dude. I honestly, I feel like taking those leaps of faith. Sometimes really like most of the times really do pay off, and it's so inspiring to hear people's like stories about it, like yours is so cool. And
Thanks.
no,
I always think
honestly,
about it like calculated risk, like a calculated leap of faith, because
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that those leap of faiths do work, but it's you gotta have some sort of a strategy and work ethic to back it up, and sort of ideology behind it. And it seems you certainly had it, because if you were making music beforehand, you
yeah.
definitely had a product to sell that you thought was good enough to sell. It just happened that in the place you were at, it seemed there was no market. And it's so ironic now in 2020 how
That is the market.
it's a huge market. But you're seeing K-pop, you're seeing blow up the rankings in
Yeah,
America. You're
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
artists from all over the world, really. So it's super ironic that what was that, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, they were saying there was no
Yeah, for
market.
sure. I'm glad you brought that up, Efra, because it's not about making that jump, right? It's not about that leap of faith, right? It's
That's right.
about having faith in yourself to like do it and just really go for it. That's what
Amen,
it's
brother.
about, you know?
I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, it's so cool. When you have that, because in the industry you get a lot of rejections before you get a lot
Ooh,
of no's before they get that one yes, that changes your life. So
yeah, for
it's
sure.
it's I think it's about mindset. How do you approach the rejection? Like, how did you deal with it? Because that must have been pretty hard to take in, to understand that you're good enough but not good enough for the market. That doesn't
Yeah.
really make sense. How do you take that on? What was your mindset?
Well, I'm just a positive dude, I don't really dwell on
I can
negative.
tell,
What
brother.
what Thanks.
The
I guess I
vibes.
exude it, right? It's the vibe, man. But I don't really dwell with it. I just make it a learning experience, just like how they say, right? You just learn from it, and I just take it literally. I learn
Mm.
from it, and I throw it out. I don't take it personal, and I
It's
move
good.
on, and just I'm positive about it.
That's dope.
Dad plays the piano. My mom sings. My sister's the one that taught me how to sing. My older sister sings as well. My
Okay.
brother's like a dancer. All my
Woo.
uncles, they all play the guitar and sing, and like the whole family. It was always like a music lesson all the time, just being around family
Right.
parties. And I mean, I even played in a band with my uncle. We were called the Howlers. My uncle was the band leader, and my sister was the other lead singer. And we would go around clubs in LA singing and casinos, and we do like bar mitzvahs and 18th birthdays and
Nice.
That's so
and
cool.
bars or whatever. Yeah, it was my training ground with my uncle, and we would do like top 40 songs and stuff like that. And
Awesome.
that was the training that I really needed to really get
Mm-hmm.
where I wanted to be. Because my
Absolutely.
voice back then was all right, it was okay, but because I was exposed to that live element of with the
Mm-hmm.
when there's only like one person and you want to get that one person's attention because that one person that's there is not even looking, so you
Yeah.
just want to get his attention and just do your best. And it's that training that I really am thankful for. So shout out to my uncle Bob, the Howlers.
Uncle Bob. You know what though? I do think that is literally the best training ground, and I've
I
discussed this a lot
agree.
with Bale because, as we mentioned, theater training super crazy. It's very different.
Rigorous.
Yeah, and then but what we I don't know how familiar you are with sort of like the kind of the story of how the whole idea of starting YouTube began, but it was just because we were involved in TV since we were kids for a long time, and then we kind of just had and I wanted to express our thoughts about music, so we did the YouTube. And one of the things that we did
Oh,
while doing the TV when we were in Venezuela was had a band, a family band,
Yeah.
but it was about gaitas, and gaitas is a genre specific only to Venezuela.
It's like a folkloric type of music.
And
okay,
I'll
okay,
send you some links so you can
nice.
see kind of like the
That's
genre.
dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So we used
Yo,
to
yeah,
tour around the country a lot.
ooh. And then
Yeah.
who's part of the band?
So our father was the director for a good 4 years, but it was meant to be a children's only band,
Yeah.
and
But the kids grew up and we maintained its core of as we grew up. So it was
it was called La Parrandita Gaitera.
Damn, la parandita taireta. What?
gaitera.
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 Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
right.
That's
Gaitera.
right. So
Okay, okay.
one of the things that and then we see other people that kind of had the same bringing up
Background. Yeah.
music, kind of like being brought up in the same live environment.
Uh-huh.
I really, really believe that regardless of all the training and all kind of lessons and things you do, I think the best training ground has to be being on stage, lights
Definitely.
on, mic on, people
I
clapping
agree.
or booing.
Yep.
You know,
That's
Yep.
right.
Exactly.
It's such a
Exactly.
rough environment, but it strengthens and it makes artists like you.
Oh man. What do you call her? Baile? Baile?
Vale, because my name is with W, so but it's pronounced with a V sound, so Waleska. So, but it's okay
Oh,
if you call me Wale. It's all
Waleska.
right.
Oh, okay,
I don't
okay.
mind. It's
So
fine.
you're related. You're brother and
But
sister.
siblings, yes, yes. So
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
I'm the older one between the two of us, even though it doesn't look like that. I know.
Ah, she got jokes.
No, no, Jay, she's the way more mature one. Trust me.
Oh, that's the comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man. But that's cool, right? So then we share that in common, and it's such great bonding just to be able to play music with your family and perform. And man, it's so cool.
that's
Of course,
right.
there's like the rough times too, right?
Oh,
You
definitely. I
know?
mean, if
Yeah.